Welcome back to my channel. I am Toby from 170, and in this video we're gonna take a look into the battle chess. So battle chess is one of the new events. It's not really like new by the concept of it, but compared to the other events in this page, this is still relatively new addition, and not so many players take interest in this right now due to some errors and issues in this event, but team in the game is currently trying to fix that type of errors, so in future we can see it working well. And for that I'm gonna make a series of videos to try and understand this mode better. And in this video we're going to go through the understanding of immortal cards and how all of them work and which ones are good in my opinion from my experience that I played in season 3 of this event, I believe. Let me check 1 second. If I go to chat box and over here, yeah, I have the chat box of season 3 and I also have the name played. I only played this event back then just for the chat box itself. So based on that experience we're gonna go and make the decks. So basically uh, each player will get the option to make 3 setups in this uh, mode. So this is 1, 2 and 3. These are the ones that I have played at that time, but in this video we're gonna just take a look into the immortals cards and try to understand them better. So let me remove all of the immortals from here. Okay, so let's start from Merlin. First of all we have Merlin, and we all know it's a bow type immortal, but that is not very important in this field. So the attributes is that attack from Merlin is 34, health is 338, attack speed is 1.33, then range 3, and movement speed is 0.8. The passive skill on Merlin is use 2 arcane cards to launch 5 bubbles to attack random enemies on the chessboard, dealing 50 damage. If the target suffers from any debuff effects, the damage will be increased. Just like in your March, when the enemy has a chill effect, damage gets doubled. And similarly, I believe if you can play Merlin with Dido in the same build, then he will also double his damage in the battle chest. Next up we have Attila. So Attila actually is one of the most important cards in this whole mode, and I will mention why that is. So it costs you 3 elixir to play, and its passive skill is actually the main thing that makes him more special. The leaps, as you can read here, leaps to the enemy when placed on the chessboard and silencing the enemy for 3 seconds. Okay, so when you place your your Attila, let's suppose I place him over here in this position, and enemy immortal is in this place. He's gonna jump all the way here to this place and try to kill him. That's the leap ability, and it is so strong ability. Then we have the Charles the Great. So cast shield based on 10% of the target's maximum HP on 3 random friendly units that lasts for 3 seconds, and the cost to use this immortal is 4 elixir. Then you have the Zenobia. So Zenobia sacrifices HP every 3 seconds to apply continuous healing to the friendly unit with the highest HP, healing 40 HP every second for 3 seconds. So in 3 seconds, Zenobia will heal like 120 HP for one of your team immortals, and with every heal she will lose some of her HP, sacrifice it every 3 seconds to apply continuous healing to the friendly units. So currently in this video I'm just going through the mechanics and stuff of the immortals, but to make it into a March there will be another video with these energies, and there's gonna be a very good setup to make Zenobia spam a lot, and I will make a video on that as well, which I actually used a lot when I played this game. Okay, next up we have Robin. Robin is a very tricky immortal in this game mode. This unit cannot move, so if I place him in this spot, he will not move from here. The whole game, the entire game, he will stay here. But causes 60 damage to the random enemy every 2 seconds. Every time you use an immortal card, the cost of this card will reduce by 1 energy mark. Okay, to understand this, as you can see, it costs 12 elixir right now, and maximum bar of elixir that you can collect is 10. So to decrease the amount of elixir that it requires to deploy, I will have to use cards. I can use cards like these. Move one second. This is getting in the way. Okay, I can. So if I like, I have Robin in my deck available for 12 elixir, and I use Tito like this. Place it on the deck. Then the elixir required to deploy Robin Hood will decrease from 12 to 11, and then if I use another card, maybe let's say Zenobia, then this elixir will go down to 10, and similarly you can take it all the way down to 0. Okay, and it also decreases when you use the spell type cards. Next up we have Dido. So casts ice armor to 3 random friendly units. When they take damage, they have 50% damage to apply slow to the attacker, reducing the attack speed and movement speed by 50% for 3 seconds. Although on the contrary, by description, this sounds very strong, and even in the mechanic it is very strong, but there is just one weakness to this whole thing, that the health and attack of this immortal is very low. Of course, it is sport type woman, so it's not meant for that. It is doing the sport work, but you will have to do something to protect her with this. Although her energy is really just 2, it's not too much. That is at least one good thing in this. So you will still have to send Tito behind something, or you will have to send her to defend or slow down the enemy so you can gather more energy. Next up you have the Ramesses 2. It's a spearman, but it doesn't really matter in this mode. So the passive skill here is that when causes damage, there is also a 50% chance to cause the slow effect for 3 seconds. If the target is already slowed, then they will be frozen for 3 seconds. Ultimate skill, they causes 60 damage to all enemy within the attack range. So it has the ultimate skill inside of the deck or the board, you can say. So it also causes slowed and stuff like that. If damage increases, when the damage causes, there's a 50% chance to cause the slow effect for 3 seconds. If the target is already slowed, they will be frozen for 3 seconds. So if you stack Ramesses with Tito, then this type of thing can happen because she slows down the enemy. Next up you have Cleopatra, also a very important role player in this whole mode. Summons 2 serpents. When placed on the board, attacks from the serpents or itself will apply mark of serpent on the target for 3 seconds. Can only be applied once every 6 seconds. Once the target dies with the mark, a new serpent will be summoned at that location. And this new summoning thing is actually a very broken skill, because if you are against a squishy player and you send your Cleopatra on them, then she's gonna stack so many snakes that it will be very hard for them to counter you unless they are using a specific a spell card, which would be lightning, and lightning actually hard counters this type of thing. Next up there is Leonidas, and it also has a ultimate skill of its own. Receiving 80 healings will cause its damage and HP to increase, can be stacked for 5 times. This is the passive skill. So if I stack this thing with Zenobia, then this will increase damage a lot. Although the cost to use this amount is 6, that is a lot of cost. Ultimate skills. Reduce the damage received by itself for and two random friendly units by 30% for 60 seconds. That is a good buff. Next up we have Eminentore. Eminent Amanitor. I'm not sure how to pronounce this one. So ultimate skill reduces the cost of a random card by 1 with the sacrifice of 50 HP. So at the sacrifice of this card itself in 3 seconds, I think, like approximately, you can get the cost reduced of one of like your immortal cards. It is random. Look, I cannot say one. It is random, but by one elixir, the cost will go down. Just like when I use the immortal card to reduce the cost of Robin Hood, this card can do that without me having to deploy more cards. Next up is Alkade. So apply a counter attack effect for 2-3 friendly units for 6 seconds. When being hit by a normal attack, it has 50% chance to return a normal attack to the attacker. Just like in the March with his EA and without his EA. Obviously with EA this goes up to 100%, but here is 50%. And it also gives the same type of buff to his allies, and when enemy hits it, there's a 50% chance to return a normal attack to the attacker. Then we have Barca. So I'm getting out of breath. Causes 35 damage to an additional enemy when applying normal attacks. Every time a unit dies on the chessboard, it will gain HP and damage increase buff that can be stacked for 5 times. So instead of stacking damage or cleave effect from the Kin Emperor, Barca is getting a similar type of mechanism inside this board as well, where you can increase your damage and stack it for 5 times every time a unit dies on the chessboard. Okay. Next up is, I didn't notice, but it's 7 elixir cost. That's very high cost for Barca. Next up we have Armenes. I hope I pronounced that correct. Passive skill, slow attack speed but very high HP and damage. Okay, attack is 75, health is 900. That's a lot of HP. Yes, that's true. But 6 elixir cost is a lot, and it also, like, I think it travels slow. Yeah, movement speed is 0.5. Then we have Edward. Edward is also like one of my favorites. Once placed, summons 2 archers. Everything that summons something like the Cleopatra or Edward, it's really useful in this game mode. Once summons 2 archers that launches fire arrows to the enemy, the target will lose 60 additional HP of it. It has been hit by 3 consecutive fire arrows. Okay. Then next we have this thing, the Lancelot, and just like Attila, this guy also has a specific type of movement thing. Charge towards the target causes 50 damage upon impact and stuns the target for 3 seconds. Upon impact, you will lose 30% of your max HP, and charge action will be cancelled by crowd control effects. So let's suppose enemy has deployed Merlin in this spot. I drop my Lancelot in this spot. As soon as I land him, he will rush, like literally run and charge towards Merlin. And upon impact on Merlin, he will deal damage, but he will also sustain damage. But he is really fast to go there. Okay. And last is also a very, very, very important card in this game mode, Moctezuma 1. I hope I pronounced that correct as well. So this is a healer, like straight up healer. This is straight up healer. He's not gonna go on offense. He's not gonna do attacks. So passive skill is automatically patrols the grounds. Every 3 seconds, it will generate 1 energy mark and loses 80 HP. Just like I mentioned some synergies of spell cards, there's also something similar for this one, and I will also mention that in these synergies videos. So to understand it more, if I deploy this guy over here, then he's not gonna rush towards the enemy. He's just gonna like walk here or go on a walk around the place, and by doing that, he will keep giving me more elixir, or what to say, energy marks in the term of game, and with that recovery, I can deploy more immortals. So with this, we'll cover the mechanics of all of the immortals and how they work in this mode. And in the next video, I'm going to cover all of the scale types, these cards, maybe in the next video. And after that, next week, I'm going to try to make builds with these cards, and we will also play some games with the builds that we make, and slowly we will progress more in the chess when make changes to our marches depending on our wins and losses and needs. It will be a good experience. So continue watching this, and thank you for watching this video. If there's anything you want to ask me in the comment section, you can ask me there. I will definitely answer you there, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.